Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I appreciate the chance to be here today. This is important industry in my district as well in San Diego, both because we're developing a lot of the software and also because the Navy has a lot of, or the military has a lot of interest in the field. And Dr. Chang, I'm glad you're a UCSD grad too. Appreciate that. My question is sort of, we know that, I think it was yesterday that the Global Information Security Workforce Study from Booz Allen Hamilton said that 56% of cybersecurity professionals feel the security organizations are short-staffed, and that the cybersecurity field is projected to grow 11% annually over the next 5 years. And so there's I think it's widely understood there's a gap in the workforce. But what I'm sort of interested in is what is the field of cybersecurity from an academic sense? You described it as an interdisciplinary exercise. We know it's not just computer science or software. But if you were trying to certify someone in cybersecurity, do you have a sense, maybe you can help me understand what it is that that person would need to know? And that's for anyone.
Sure, I can start. So there are the traditional disciplines that you learn in computer science about programming, about algorithms, about discrete math, and so forth. You would add some elements to that in order to focus more specifically in cybersecurity, and so you would add more about networking, perhaps more about analysis. There is this interesting conversation happening at universities now where they talk about that there's a classic computer science major, and that maybe there ought to be a cybersecurity major as well. So there are many things in common, but it's different enough such that it might be, it's worth an interesting dialogue about the extent that there's the creation of a specific major in cybersecurity.
Well, I guess I think it would be helpful for us because the intent of the legislation before us is to kind of secure our future in that. But if we don't know kind of what we're educating, if you don't understand, if you don't have a sense or a consensus about what it is we're seeking to educate people in, I think we face some of the concerns that we're not going to be, or the money's going to be bleeding, or we're not going to be effective. So if it's anthropology or if it's law in addition to these technical things, is there a way to land that plane?
So first off, I think you need to make a distinction between education and training. So many of the training organizations and CISSP certifications, that's one level of something that's about operations and being able to run things. And then there's the education challenge in terms of creating new researchers and new educators and PhDs. And I think that we are just as a community, as Dr. Chang said, beginning to put forth master's curriculums in cybersecurity. USC is just about to introduce one starting next fall. And really, there are different fields. So cybersecurity is not one narrow field. So there are cybersecurity researchers in defenses, in active security, in mathematical analysis, in networking. And so even in a master's degree, there will be specializations in these different areas, drawing from primarily a computer science curriculum, but also some engineering, some systems kind of work, networking, and then bringing in an understanding of human behavior.
I guess there's going to be some sets we're going to have to keep adjusting as we go, too.
That's right. There's not one answer that fits all.
Mr. Barrett, maybe quickly, you might touch on the first of your rhetorical questions, which is how much money are we losing? Do you have a sense of how we go about answering that question?
I believe the answer is we need to put in place more detailed reporting frameworks in order to actually ascertain the scope of the problem. Because the estimates range all over the place. I mean, as low as a few billion up into the trillion range. My own personal view is it's probably in the tens of billions of range. But it's really
that would be
hard
something
to
that would be done by industry, presumably. Is that right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
I mean, it certainly could be done. A reporting framework could be developed, but at the moment, what we have is entirely voluntary, and it muddles how much money is lost with how much companies spend on defenses, and those two numbers are quite different as well. And how much do you turn away?
Again, I very much appreciate your being here. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.